Hey everyone, this is Mario again, coming at you with another entry in Monster Fest 2012. As you can tell from the angle, I'm recording this one on my laptop, because this is the one I'm going to be editing this one on, so I might as well record it on here. Anyway, today's review is of a film that I revisited last year after having not seen it in years. And I decided, since my previous review went the way of the dinosaur, when my other channel died, I decided, hey, since it'll go with the Monster Fest theme, maybe I should re-review it after giving it another watch. And I have to say, I love it just as much as I did before. And that, of course, the film I'm talking about is the 1980 monster movie directed by Lewis Teague, Alligator. It lives 50 feet below the city. It's 36 feet long. It weighs 2,000 pounds, and it's about to break out. Yeah, that's right, Alligator. Now, the movie was written by John Sayles and Frank Pirelli. And I'm going to check to see which one was the first writer, because I forget who it was. It was Sayles, who apparently was the first writer. And I know on the DVD there's an interview with him, which I saw it before, but I got to rewatch it. I might put it in the description box if I can find it. But the plot of the movie is that our movie begins with this teenage girl buying an American alligator while on vacation in Florida. She eventually returns home to Chicago, where the gator, which she named Ramon, is promptly flushed down the toilet by her father, who, in the words of Knox, what a dick. Anyway, the alligator ends up in the sewers, and many years later, the alligator not only survived, but apparently he feeds on discarded pets and other food. And he's somehow gotten 60 to be, not 60, that'd be a really big alligator. He's gotten to be 36 feet long. And apparently this is because of these animals that are being discarded into the sewer by this pharmaceutical place which experiments on them. And there's some of them are being experimented on with growth formula, which causes his growth and other bunch of stuff. And it also makes him a little bit harder to kill. Now, eventually he starts picking off humans that go into the sewer. And that's basically where the main part of the story begins, where a body is found, and our main human character, Forster's character, who is David Madison, he is a homicide detective investigating it, and one day he decides to go down to the sewer with a partner. They come across a gator, the partner gets killed, and of course in the media, one of the media people gets onto this because apparently Madsen in the past lost a partner on another job, so it's one of those vulture media people that like to go after anyone when something bad happens to them. The paparazzi you just want to strangle. Well, eventually he gets his comeuppance, but he helps. And of course, they're going to go after the gator. Eventually the gator breaks out of the sewer, and all hell breaks loose, basically. Not literally, but they're all trying to get the gator, shoot the gator and stuff. And they even bring in a big game hunter to take care of the gator. And of course, as Madsen digs deeper along with the help of Marisa Kendall, played by Riker, they get close to finding out what it is that caused the gator to get that way. And of course it's entangled with political stuff, so you can tell that it's not all going to end well for them. But eventually you can tell the gator is going to get his comeuppance too. And that's all the plot I'm going to talk about. And for an 89-minute movie, this actually has a very good pace. And so I have to say I recommend you guys giving it a watch if you haven't seen it. The acting in the movie is very well. With a monster movie, you think the acting would be so-so. It's actually very well. You actually do feel for this character. Like, the character of Madsen, you really do feel for him when you find out what happened to his partner. You really want him to punch the reporter guy, even though he doesn't. And you really want to see him get the gator in the end. The relationship between him and the Dr. Kendall character, you really do believe that they have a budding romance as the film goes on. You can see at first that they don't really want to work together, but the circumstances force them to. And after the event of the movie, you could see their relationship probably going to the next level somewhere down the line. Michael Gazzo is the police chief. You could tell that he really does have a working relationship with Madsen. And when he does have to kick him off the force at one point in the movie because of the political stuff, you could see that it actually is killing him, even though he's trying to hide it. But you could tell just by what he says and how he inflects his voice that it is hurting him that he has to do this. And that by the end of the movie, he's actually happy that Madsen went against police stuff and actually did what he did to the gator. So you can tell. And it doesn't surprise me that I found out that Gazzo is actually an Academy Award nominated actor who actually started in stage acting. With a little bit of acting classes I've taken already, I can see why. I can see, it's not that hard to see that he was a stage actor from how he did it. And the rest of the characters, they do pretty good jobs. Henry Silva is Colonel Brock, does a very good job. He has a little bit of subtle pretentiousness about him that once something happens to him, you actually kind of enjoy it a little bit. The reporter character, it's one of those characters you just want to smack him because of how idiotic he is. Yeah, like take that. Score for the movie by Craig Hudley was pretty good. I'm actually going to look up to see if I can find any individual tracks so I can put them on my MP3 player. Lewis Teague's direction was very well. He knew how to frame the shots. Like I do like at certain parts of the movie, he actually films it from the alligator's point of view, which that kind of works. The effects work in this movie was great. It was a combination of a full mock-up alligator and models using a real alligator, which you could tell at times when it's actually a real alligator, and you can tell it's not a 30. Do not freaking believe that. You wonder why I paused the video on the camera, looks like it stopped, so I don't know if you were just hearing my audio or you just see it. But anyway, as I was saying, the use of the real alligator does really work, and I do like how they did it. And I actually want to find out how they got the alligator to perform my command. Did they just put the alligator in and film randomly? Did they have an alligator wrangler? Well, I know at the beginning of the movie they have an alligator wrestler. And did they bring in Hulk Hogan for this? Now let me tell you something, Gator. You're going to go through that model, and you're going to do that before I have to go in there and leg drop you. I know I couldn't resist it, guys, but 484, so I don't think anyone would know who Hulk Hogan is, but in retrospect, he is a joke. Or maybe they had the Macho Man take care of the Gator. Oh yeah, alright, Gator. You're going to do this before I elbow drop you. Or better yet, maybe they got Joe Pesci and Danny Glover, full Nelson and punch you in the stomach. I wonder how many people are going to get that movie reference, but this is as much as Quacky. Quacky, what did I do to you? I know. I'm making too many movie references right now, but I just can't help it. I always have to want to do with it. One thing I'm actually kind of surprised to hear is that this, for the most part, critics actually did enjoy this movie. And I'm actually going to check right now to see what the movie rating stuff is. Like on IMDb, I want to see what it is. IMDb, it has a 5.8 from the audience. It could be a little higher. I think it should at least be a 6. I want to see what it is on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, it's a little bit higher on Rotten Tomatoes. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 67% from critics, and it has a 48% from the audience. Oh man, I disagree with that. I think it should be higher with the audience. It should at least be about the same percentage as it was with the critics. But I guess that just shows not that many people in the audience enjoy monster movies anymore, except for one like Cloverfield. But one of the few critics that didn't enjoy the movie was Roger Ebert, and this is what he said. Flush this movie down the toilet to see if it grows into something big and fearsome. That's his opinion, but I disagree with him wholeheartedly. I enjoyed the movie. I don't really have that many problems with it. I mean, except, like I said, I'll enjoy the model work, even though sometimes it is kind of obvious. But like I said, I prefer it over CGI, where it's totally fake. And one thing I will say is this plot basically is you take Jaws and just change it from a shark to an alligator. But the film works. It's not a complete knockoff like Great White, where it's the same exact plot. It's basically the same type of plot elements, but it's a different animal, and it does kind of have I don't know if I'd say self-aware, but it kind of has like a self-aware presence to it. I guess kind of like Piranha, the first one from what I hear, but I guess it's kind of some of that self-awareness. It's not like fully self-aware, like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, or where they make a product placement joke. How about a crest? I don't know. Maybe if I can find it, maybe that movie will be in Monster Crest. But if you guys don't know what scene I'm talking about, you guys should look up that scene. Look, the acting is good from the actors. That's at least one thing that should get praised, is the acting and stuff. But like I said, I don't really have any problems with it. I mean, it has great cinematography, great use of music, great use of alligators, great acting, and Even though, like I said, the plot does kind of rip off Jaws. I won't say rip off Jaws, it's derivative of Jaws. It is effective. I mean, it's not like one of those rip-offs where you're like, where Picard would come in and say, "Why the fuck did this movie cost $10 million?" Stuff like that. Or, "Why the fuck is the alligator made here?" Or a bunch of other random stuff like that. You know, if you guys don't know that Picard meme, you guys should type in Picard meme to find out. But it's a fun movie, and I'm actually surprised. I'm actually happy this did kind of get a special edition, but you'll see why when I say kind of. The DVD that was released by Lionsgate includes a commentary track with the director and star Robert Forster, a featurette titled Alligator Author, in which the screenwriter discusses differences between his script and the final one, and the theatrical trailer. See what I mean by kind of? It's better than a bare bones. At least it has a featurette with the screenwriter, but I think it could have a little bit more, like maybe a retrospective talking about the actors and their experience with the movie, but I guess that would be too much. At least I'll say one of the stars came back for the commentary, so maybe for that I would like to get the DVD in my collection one day. And another thing I'll say is it had a budget of not even $2 million, so even for the 80s, that was even now that would be a low budget for the 80s. That's kind of still a low budget, and it worked effectively. You can tell that all that money went into the movie. It's not like cocaine. It's not like Fox where, okay, we gave him an $80 million budget, we got to use 60 of it on cocaine. You guys know I can't believe this jokes, but or like other movies made nowadays where you're like, this is 148 million, that's 250 million. Where'd all the money go? But enjoy movie, and it got a sequel. It's basically a sequel in name only because it's basically one of those sequels that basically steals wholesale from the first movie. And even though the movie does technically end with sequel bait, it's one of those ones you're like, I don't really see the need for a sequel, but you got one, and I don't remember much about the sequel. I remember seeing it once as a kid, but maybe one day I'll give it a review. Maybe it might be a rant, maybe not. And maybe that'll be one of the few times that I do a review. I'll put review or rant at the top, so let you guys think of it. But anyway, my rating for Alligator, 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you are a monster movie fan, I say give it a 1.